Hello viewers. I'm afraid I overdid it a little with Row on the last presentation. I withdraw some of my 3, 4, 5 triangles. There's much more on there, as was suspected. I will go through that shortly. I also made a bogus claim about the elevation of Goldsmith, but again, that turns out to be justified, as I will explain, and I have an exquisite rationale for the configuration of Prior's monument. What you may be more interested in is what has turned up on Shakespeare's monument itself. Wall identified 3 1740s, the Cairo stance being a 4x, hence 40, in conjunction with the 17 spears that used to be around the monument. All the monuments in Poets' Corner at one time were guarded by railings. Shoemaker's name and date in Roman and the 1740 Leiden misquoted text, the other two. There are 17 and 40 notches in the triangle at the top, and there are also a series of 17 and 40 bearing Pythagorean triples described by a series of rectangles which I will now describe. At the top, the rectangle between the inner and outer rectangles forming the frame around Shakespeare is a 17 144 145 triangle. This is a primitive Pythagorean triple, as are all the ones detected so far. They can all be found by the simple method as described. So we're going to do a quick maths lesson. Using Pythagoras' theorem and expanding using differences of squares, we can derive a method where, if odd, we square it, take 1 and halve it. You now have the lesser of 2 consecutive numbers for the other right angle leg and the hypotenuse. If even, halve it, then square it, you now have the middle of pair of numbers that are both either odd or even. You can find all the triangles with a given number as the smallest side using this method and the factors of your number. 4 does not exist as the smallest side. If you are interested in Pythagorean triangles, as these people clearly were, this is not difficult stuff. Anyone with modest mathematical abilities can work this out for themselves. 17 squared is 289. Take 1, 288. Halve it, 144. A 17 144 relation would have been of obvious delight to these hermeticists. 144 is the last number in the sacred hymn, and 12 12s are 144. Moving down to what I call the Tablet of Shame, the engraving was made during Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee. Shakespeare is standing on a 40 399 401 triangle. 40 is even, 40 halved equals 20, 20 squared equals 400. So our two numbers are 399 and 401. 40 399 401. Underneath that, there's an 8 15 17 triangle. 8 is even, so halve it to 4, square it to 16, which is the middle of two numbers, 15 and 17. At the bottom, we have another of the 40 399 401 triangles, as is on the Tablet of Shame. There is a further Pythagorean. The front section appears to be a 15 112 113 triangle. 15 squared is 255, take 1 224, halve it is 112. There may be a 40-degree line as shown and also a golden triangle in the upper section as shown, but it is very difficult to be sure about these. The only rationale I have for the dimension of the real lower section is a 20-degree line I have shown, which is even more dubious. I am nevertheless confident that we have 2 more 1740 references to go with the 4 we already had. The purpose of the 3 and 4 beading on the architraving has yet to be deciphered. It's not there for no reason. On Row, I withdraw some of the 3 4 5s I was claiming. The reflected one is quite bogus and I'm not happy with most of the others. The plinth is a 3 4 5, I believe, and the angle of the book and perhaps the line of the woman's legs are at least indicative of a 3 4 5 angle. We have plenty more to replace them. We have an 11 60 61 triangle on the short tablet underneath the plinth. I don't know what its significance is. Underneath that is a wider 33 545 544 545 triangle. 33 has well-known Masonic relevance. There are 33 degrees of masonry. At the base we have 2 17 144 and 15 122 front and back pairings as on Shakespeare. So the bottom of it is in the same dimension as Shakespeare. On the sides, there appears to be another 40-41 face, and in the horizontal plane, the main block appears to hold an 8-15-17 triangle. I do not have any data to prove any of this, in particular my assertion that Charlotte Rowe is looking through her father's eyes directly onto the centre of the tomb. I have no rationale for the height of the central main block. There is no record of the wall existing without Prior's monuments. I believe they may have been erected together. The corners of the 3 overlapped tablets on the base of the monument are at specific angles of 17, 40 and 60 degrees to the centre line from Drayton, or the transverse line to it. The inner corners are at 18 degrees, which is a regular angle, and 34 degrees, which is twice 17, and has perhaps been chosen as the nearest understandable number to fit. So you can draw all of that just by knowing what the start point is on the back of Prior, and that is something that I need to find the exact position of. The front face of Prior appears to be in line with the Minerva spear on grey. I was amused to learn of the grey eyes of Athena, which of course is the Greek name for Minerva. This point is integrated. It is predicted by the Prior monument. Butler, who was moved from the position Gay is in to where Gray now stands when Gay was put up, was moved again when Gray was erected. This was 50 years after Prior was put up, and it's curious to me that they waited so long. Goldsmith is not at the same level as Drayton, I'm sorry. It's not even close. He may, however, be at the same height as Johnson. In the circumstances, I don't want to double down on this. They are plausible and would fit, but I'm dealing with photographs bearing perspective. We need to the millimetre measurements taken with care and cross-reference with other readings. The text on Prior holds references to Vere and or 1740. I think that was surely the case before we detected geometric reference to the tomb, but it's quite certain now. It is in Latin. I imagine you would need undergraduate Latin, typically a classics degree, to make much headway in it. But you are welcome, but there's nothing I can do. But it will have lexical and numeric reference to the tomb, in my opinion.